Okay, so we're here right beside Lake Ontario, the eastern end of Lake Ontario. And this area is known as the Marysburgh Vortex. There's a lot of strange things that have happened here, a lot of sightings. So we've set up an expedition here. We're right beside the lake. We're here for a week. And on the very first night, I had all my equipment set up. I've got infrared, I've got full spectrum, I've got thermal, I've got visible, I've got time lapse, I've got zoom video, regular wide angle video, all this stuff. And at the end of the night, with my infrared time lapse running, there is a light that appears to be in the water shining up. Dave and I, Dave runs MUFON Canada here. He's the national director?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Runs MUFON, and we've both been looking at this. He's been putting it through his analytical software. We really don't know what this is. He's been researching. Is it a lighthouse? No, it doesn't turn around. Not only that, the light shines up. Okay, so it's only seen in the thermal. There's a little bit in the full spectrum, because full spectrum goes right down into the infrared a little bit. But in the visible cameras, nothing. So this one has us stumped at the moment. We really don't know what it is. Dave, what are your thoughts so far?
Well, first of all, it was only caught by the infrared camera, right? Okay, so the visible light, zero, nothing. My light, my camera's got nothing. Okay, I didn't have my infrared pointed the same spot, so unfortunately I didn't get it. A couple things. We have determined it's 87 degrees off of perpendicular, so 90 degrees. It's about an 87 degree offset, so we know it was straight out. We have used, or I used Google Earth today and determined there is no landmass out there, because the next land is 40 miles away and you really couldn't see it, being the curvature of the Earth. There is Wolf Island to the left, there's Amherst Island further to the left, and to the right there is nothing. So Rob, we have determined that it's about 87 degrees off of our plane where we've determined using Google Earth where we were standing. Let's call it 90 degrees straight out, and using Google Earth we have found there is no landmass there. There is Wolf Island to the left, but it's a good 10 degrees, 15 degrees off of perpendicular, and then there's the Amherst Island, which is way to our left. So we have determined, first of all, there's nothing but water there. It does come out of the water, that's apparent, and it is shining up. It's also only infrared, right? We have determined there's no visible light. None of my cameras caught it, none of your visible light camera have caught it. This forensic software will find a pinpoint on the screen and it'll put a point on it. If it moves, you'll see it move out of that pinpoint. Okay. I'm not moving the tracker, I'm letting the video play with the tracker fixed on the screen. So as you can see, the square is around the object and there's a crosshair right over the light. Because if it's a fixed object, it will, it will stay stationary. And as it slowly fades out,
so it's...
I have about 10 pixel movement. It has moved. It has moved. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
It's off to the left of the crosshair, so it's slightly moved. But that's less than a mile. That's not even a mile of tracking, so it's slightly moved.
Okay.
So that brings up two things. Why did it move? And where's it coming from? We know it's just water there.
We've been going through crossing out all the things we know it isn't. We know it's not a lighthouse, because a lighthouse shines the light out this way. There's a cap, there's a roof on a lighthouse. Right?
The ones around here are for sure, they have caps, so they don't shine up.
Yeah, so yet this light shines up at pretty much 90 degrees from one of the angles of the light to the other. So it's shining right up into the sky.
The old lighthouses used to rotate. The new lighthouses are fixed lights, but they pulse.
And they're shining out to sea or to the lake.
Not straight up in the air.
To the boats, right? The aircraft don't need to see the lighthouses at all.
No.
In our case, most of the light is going up.
Secondly, it's not visible light. We've already ruled it out.
That's
it can't be a lighthouse. It can't be a navigation light. There are infrared navigation lights for certain planes and military and things, but this is not that.
And I think you were saying they also have visible light with them?
Yes, because all the IR trackers used for aviation, for especially military, have both visible and infrared built into it.
Right.
So it can't be that. I know of no infrared only light this powerful This overshadows the lighthouse, the two markers, which are lighthouse basically, markers to the left, on Wolf Island. There's lighthouses, and this is 10 times brighter than that.
And it's brighter than anything else in that whole evening.
Yeah.
It's the brightest thing we've got.
If you look at this, how high this is, it's shining miles up into the air, into the sky.
It's lighting up all the clouds above.
Yes. It lights up the clouds, and clouds were low that day, but they're still 10,000 feet.
Now here's the other thing. It built up to full intensity over about a 30-second period.
Yeah, two frames.
Because each frame is 30 seconds long. So the first frame it's not quite so bright. The second frame is bright.
And then it dims out.
And then over the next 45 frames, it's slowly dimming out, which is really odd. What would there be that would do that, Dave?
To my knowledge, I don't know. I do a lot of research on lights and projections, and I've never seen anything like that. Look how bright this is compared to the lighthouse. This is at least 100 times, if not more, 1,000 times brighter than that lighthouse. And look how much sky it is lighting up.
Well, you know, we are at the eastern end of Lake Ontario, where the Marysburgh Vortex is, and all the strange stuff happens. So, are we surprised that we're getting something strange happening?
No, of course not. And is it a USO? Who knows? It could have been something that came up to the surface. It has lights, and then they faded out as it disappeared. But this cloud here is about 10,000 feet up, and it's lighting up that cloud. Like literally like a spotlight.
It's bizarre.
In infrared only.
Yeah, infrared. And it's very bright in the infrared.
And I'm going to guess it's around the 800 nanometer or higher infrared, because if it was 750 or lower, we'd see it invisible. It would be a red light.
Yeah, I don't have it in any of my visible cameras, and even in the full spectrum, it just lights up slowly.
It's so dull.
Because it's picking up at the infrared end of the full spectrum.
Yeah.
But nothing in the visible cameras. Now, Dave, what's really interesting too about this sighting is, coincidentally or not, a plane comes close to this and turns 90-degree angle. Can you speak about that?
Yeah, first of all, I did check Flight Radar 24 and a couple other trackers. There was no known commercial and military flights in this area at this time, 10 something. We use UTC, so it was 2 o'clock in the morning. It did more than a 90-degree turn, and you're right over as the anomaly, the light was fading out, it did more than a 90 degrees turn and went back towards where it was coming, not 180, but that's amazing in itself that a plane would do something like that. And it did it in one of your 30-second frames. So in one 30-second frame, it's coming in, it's turning in a second and going back on the third. That's a pretty fast turn.
Yeah, so why did it do that? Normally flights kind of do a nice smooth transition.
They're huge, very long. They take minutes and minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes to do long curves. This is totally unusual.
Why right by our anomaly?
Add it to another unknown.
So at this point it's unknown.
We'll do some more research.
Do some more research. Yep.